Now, there are a lot of endangered species in the world, and some of them receive more attention than others do. And from what I've found, oftentimes endangered insects will be on the short end of that stick. Now, I would like it to be my goal to educate people more on endangered insect species. And the way that I'm going to start out going about this is by first educating people about a couple endangered insect species with a presentation. Now, we're going to start off with the blackburn sphinx moth, or Manduca blackburni. It is a moth, which means it belongs to the order Lepidoptera. We can also tell that it's a moth because of the distinct texture on the wings and the feathery antennae, which distinguish it from butterflies, which are also in the order Lepidoptera. Originally, blackburn sphinx moths were classified as tomato hornworms. That got changed into them being a subspecies until they were their own species entirely. And in Hawaiian, their name is pulelehua, which means flying lehua flower, which lasts a short time. Now, the blackburn sphinx moths originally were found all over the islands of Hawaii. Many factors led to their endangerment, and they were assumed to be extinct in the 1970s until a population was found in 1984 on Maui, which is the center island here. Uh, as of now, there are only populations on Maui, Hawaii, the Big Island, and Kaho'olawe. And yeah, so for the physiology of the blackburn sphinx moths, I'll start off with the caterpillar. Now, the caterpillars can be bright green or gray. They have a horizontal white line on the side of their body. They have white speckles on their back, and they have eye marks uh, above the horizontal white line. There is a horn here in the end, which is why they were originally classified as hornworms, I suppose. And they are 9 to 10 centimeters in length. They also have prolegs, which is a way to determine that it is a member of Lepidoptera, because the larvae of Lepidoptera will have prolegs usually. Now, for the adult, it has a 12 centimeter wingspan, which makes it the largest native insect in Hawaii. It has a spindle shaped body, um, which is also one of the ways that you can tell that it's a moth and not a butterfly. It is gray brown in color, and there are orange spots, 5 of them, here on the abdomen. This is what distinguishes them from sweet potato hornworms, which have white spots on the abdomen instead. Now, for the ecology, the blackburn's sphinx moth larvae initially ate nightshade plants, or plants in the nightshade group. Uh, this Now they eat non-native species after being introduced to them from humans, such as tree tobacco, eggplant, tomato, tobacco, more. Uh, I think, quite a few just crop-based plants, especially. The habitat of the moths are the coast, lowlands, and the dry forest. Now, there are two major factors of endangerment for the blackburn sphinx moths. Over 90% of the dry forest in Hawaii was either removed for agricultural and urban development or from wildfires. This severe loss in habitat restricted and reduced the blackburn sphinx moth population severely, alongside many invasive species, predators, and parasitoids, which target and kill blackburn sphinx moths. Those factors are the largest in having reduced and endangered the blackburn sphinx moth populations. Now, the Delisand's flower-loving fly, or Rhaphiomydes terminatus abdominalis, is a fly, as the name sort of implies. You can tell it's a fly or a member of Diptera, specifically the order of Diptera, because of the halteres, which here in the right photo you can see are present instead of the regular hind wings that other insects would have. Uh, the Lalisan's flower-loving flies or live in the Delhi Dunes, uh, and they live specifically in the San Bernardino and Riverside counties, but only in small parts of each. There's only an estimate of about 500 of them, which is very well. That's a small population. They're the only dipteran to be registered as an endangered species, which is kind of interesting. The physiology of the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly, uh, I could not find many resources on the larvae, especially because this is not a very well-known species or well studied. But I'll talk about the adult. It is 2.5 centimeters long, orange brown. It may not be present in this photo, but there are dark brown abdominal spots. It has a proboscis, which it uses to feed on nectar from flowers, and it is a pollinator. So it spreads the pollen from flowers to other ones. And a very unique thing, I think, specifically to this fly in relation to other insects, is that it has the ability to hover like a hummingbird, which I don't think is very common in other insects. Now, the ecology of the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly, uh, they live in they live in the dunes. They live in sand. They have multiple microhabitats within those dunes, though. Uh, Mostly open sandy area versus more shrubbed, concealed locations, and the males and females have far different uh, behavior. The males will be active in the open sand areas, and they often will exhibit search and pursuit behavior. The females are more passive and often are just perching on shrubs. And the flies are active in August and September, in which they mate and lay eggs in the sand. And that is part of why the females are perched on the shrubs, because the females will extend and vibrate their abdomen, which is thought to be a way to release and broadcast their pheromone for the males who are searching and pursuing to find and uh, mate and copulate. Uh, the larvae spend their time completely underground, and they're most likely predaceous, which is unlike their adult counterparts. Um, oh. Now, the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly, only 2% of their habitat is actually remaining. In 1993, they were declared endangered, and the uh, wildlife and Fish and Wildlife Services are in negotiations with local land or local governors about the land and its protection in order to guarantee the safety or some safety of the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly. They have 8 potential sites, which they think that they can use to protect the Delhi Sands flower-loving flies, as well as a captive breeding program in progress in order to re-up the numbers of the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly. And this organization here, the Rivers and Lands Conservance, or the Delhi Sands Dunes Conservation Program, are dedicated to preserving the Delhi Sand dunes, and they use the Delhi Sands flower-loving fly as their mascot, which is very interesting. So, for the 3 major outcomes, physiology, I think I described the um, the morphology, the actions and behaviors that each insect does. The diversity, I explained what order each insect belonged to, and uh, like how they belong into it, and then the ecology. I describe their relationship with their environment, which I think, yeah,